Okay, kids, this time around we're going to talk about a different type of deal. You know how much paper I use in my notebook doing stupid crap like this. Anyway, especially since nobody cares, but that's not the point. We're going to do something along the lines of the game theory stuff, but not numerical in nature, okay? Though remember, in numerical game theory, they're trying to quantify it, again, with arbitrary valuations that don't take all variables into possibility, nor does it take all constants, okay? Now, specifically because for some reason, it seems like those are such tiny controlled environments that and I just went through an argument with this over on the Creation Today channel with a dude that said creationism is stupid because I said so, that's why, and this is why people believe in religion or not. I mean, it was so fallacious, the argument. It was so unscientific, the guy was trying to pass off. Science says this is real science, and I had to say, no, you have no fucking clue what real science is. Okay? Now, when you get into the older forms, it is the art of science. You know, got to identify specific variables and constants, static and dynamic, as well as try to factor in unknowns. Okay? Now, we're going to do a little deal called I guess. All right? Now, the I guess model is what most people function on, I guess. Okay, they predict a thing by saying, I guess. There's nothing wrong with instinct, okay? Krishul Journey did a video here a while back on it, a few days ago on it, and it was talking about, you know, they get into the singularity of synchronicity, and however, I'm not knocking Krishul. What I'm saying is unfortunately people only focus on the emotional aspects, okay? As in, how would you say it? It seems to be magic because I did not specifically identify all variables. Or, modern science falls under the fallaciousness that there are no other variables outside what I said, okay? They don't set to the side X fully unknowns. I'm not saying integral does that. What I'm saying is it seems like the studies I keep seeing just are sloppy as hell on not identifying what they did not identify or include. Now you'll say, what is this on game theory? Okay. I dig that a lot of the YouTube people cannot stand the social sciences. I agree with people like Integral Math and the others that the social sciences are extremely sloppy. I disagree with any notion that the social sciences have never run and never will governments. A known weapon and tool of social cohesion from before Sun Tzu. Okay, kids? All right. Now, the models I would like to get deeper into, but only I haven't done it because I slack. Because remember, I'm doing gaming, and I'm not doing technically large-scale predication or oracular prediction. Okay? Precognition. Well, precognition would mean you'd have to think. You don't use solely subjective emotionalism. And I hate to tell you this, all this shit, I know philosophy and everybody wants to argue using the old school Roman and Greek shit, but the mass delusion is that they are somehow objective in their solely contrived delusion that they call reality, which is subjective completely. All right. There again, I don't go the other way of David Icke, and I'm not knocking David Icke on this specific aspect, but yes, we do not have all the variables. We cannot identify all the factors. Then again, I'm not technically trying to explain the entire universe to shoehorn it in. Integral, I'll tell you, logic is so fucking sloppy and has been since the beginning of this country. You get some really really screwy shit. Technically, science, modern science, did not begin until the Industrial Revolution. So there are some problems here, all right? Because it's more about the want to say you're right and then defend against detractors. And that is in lieu of actual fact or reality. Okay? All right. So, and that's part of our problem. That's why nothing is advancing except, oh, an iPhone. An iPhone's awesome. Well, yeah, and my grandpa thought the telephone was awesome, but he didn't want one. I had a neighbor lived right over there. Right over there. Not 500 foot from me, that lived in his house his entire life till the day he died, but he refused to own an air conditioner. And so I guess air conditioners are a great advancement. Because you said so, that's why. My neighbor would have disagreed. He didn't need one. There's a difference between a want and a need and saying a thing is when it is not. In reality, it's irrelevant. Okay, so anyway, I'm not going to go into the tool deal, because the tool deal is a way to drive populations as well. I think, who was it, the Apple dude that died, Steve Jobs. What was it about disruptive technology? Yes, and then right behind it is game theory. Suck them in the door. It's all about consumerism, right? Shyster's interaction. I'm sorry, kids. You know, there's a whole bunch of problems here, as Mr. Alan Watt and others have stated over and over. There's certain amounts of tech that are held by the government, okay, and they release it with quite a few modifications, making sure it's never open source, and then from there on out you follow a linear line that they denote to you. Social cohesion, okay? That doesn't touch the educational behavior modification. But what I was going to get into was the oracular models, because Gerald Celente did a video, and I thought, it's about time somebody talked about how to identify, specific things. And I've done it briefly with the numerical models, but they're so highly generalized, it seems like they don't actually take actual panopticonic choice-driven game theory into account. They only take such a highly limited and highly subjective set of choices and do not consider that a prisoner dilemma in and of itself, a voter trap in and of itself. They say from this a voter trap is formed. Okay? Which, when you look at this, what I'm saying is, if you start from the desert, from the nullity gaming, where all your choices are open for that instant, and you have a shyster or any other player, ZPP, show up, this ZPP will be offering, we're just going to say he wants a trade of some type. They always want a trade of some type. I demand compliance. I want a trade. I want your money. I want you to believe, so on and so forth. That it's automatic. Anything he offers is going to take all the open branch paths at that one time and convince you that there is a very limited set. And the very limited set will be, all right. Now, he's already got you on the hook. He's already broken you down to a singular branch path. You're on his branch path, okay? Now, believe it or not, this does actually quantify, how would I say it? This does actually quantify and qualify time-space interaction, okay? Which, by the way, I'd done a posit many years ago that incoming data actually changes time-space for the individual in the locality of the information coming in. Such as when someone presents something to you, time-space, right? Time ceases to function at the same rate of speed. You've heard about some of it where you supposedly speed up. Now, some of you know this on fear-based applications such as adrenaline modification. There's some interesting techno stuff on that right there that y'all haven't. I did that years ago. That would be quite fascinating, right? Adrenal modifications. Okay, here's the deal. are you actually going faster? Is the world going slower? Or is it just, this is so subjective, it's starting to get a little problematic? Okay, anyway. But the point is, that was just a positive. But anyway, he, by automatically offering, bust down all your choices that you originally had, because you're going to screw up and buy, watch this, Gerald Salente, by allowing the beginning of an interaction, by allowing, instead of just saying, no, I'm going, see you later. That's it. By allowing the interaction, the inducement, you've taken all possible open choices and dropped them to a singular branch path that the zombie parrot player and or the shyster demands. You've dropped down to one, which is you're going to pick something he offers. Okay, I told you, Panis Opticona Fide, it's the panopticon. It's an automatic prisoner dilemma. Okay, automatic across the board. Now, and I just use prisoner dilemma. There's integral math could do much better on the older Latin stuff when it comes into logic traps and etc. Okay, he could denote in more full, and so could Puka. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. I imagine skeptical, heretic, and others, creationists, whatever. I imagine they could bring out specific models, but this is a more to cover. Let's bust out the old school fallacious shit that was only presented in order to create a prisoner dilemma. Okay, let's bust that shit out and get down to the bare bones of this shit. All right, so he breaks you down into a singular branch path, and then, of course, offers one of two options. Either option is still agreeance with the singular branch path. Okay, all right, and it's intended to bust the branch path and force you to choose, which means a faith sale in either direction. If you choose detractor or agreeer, which would actually make you, at that point in time, Lex Lumine Paratus, or the parrot. Okay? You understand? I know y'all understand. I know I do a brute force model, but the deal is it's so much more effective because it's efficiency of time, okay? Because believe it or not, just like you, I have other better shit to do. Remember that I'm considering my channel to be a specific tool to do a specific job and duty, okay? All right, which some of you know, if you've ever watched my videos, that's what I do. So, anyway, I know a lot of people consider YouTube to be, let's all be actors and have a good time, whereas I consider it much more than that. Well, actually, I don't consider it anything. I just do my channel, and that's nobody fucking watches, and I'm okay with that. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody gives a fuck. I don't get paid for the shit. I don't monetize. I'm leaving my options open, it's so on and so forth. That way, if you leave all those options open, the best anybody could ever do is either use of force on me or attempt to voter trap me. Before we go right here, before I finish out this on the oracular models, let's jump back to the deal is, if I am my own pyramid in my own desert of nullification, nothing exists. Those fictions do not exist until somebody shows up and throws a fiction at me, demanding an interaction that creates the fictions. Okay? That's what they carry with them. I literally don't care. All right. And with having identified as many behavior modification models and socially cohesive and reconstructive models as I can, which is, by the way, in abeyance of the fact that not even I can clearly identify every single model in existence, nor has any logician, rhetorician, or what have you. No, there's just not, it doesn't. The reason that doesn't happen is if you look at science or any other models that attempt to discover, you'll realize you can see the glaring gaps, okay? The glaring gaps, because again, they're running ZPP, they're Lex Lumine Paratus, they're trying to pass something off, not actually identify and create. Okay? Okay. You'll be surprised how much of your life is spent solely in the pursuit of repropagating physical actions because somebody told you to. It'll really freak you out, but you'd have to stop, go over and watch Amir Murad, sit down, and stare at a piece of paper and say, what did I do today? And then begin listing, and then say, well, why did I do that? 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 Why did I do? And it doesn't take too long to realize what you are. Okay. I'm not saying Lex Lumine Paratus does not create, but it creates in such a very tiny way. Okay? Highly controlled. Highly controlled. Num, 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 num. All right. In such a highly controlled fashion that is not true creation. Okay? Now we're talking about tools because people are fascinated with fucking matches and lighters. You know, oh, if I went back 200 years and had a big lighter, they would call me God. And you're going, really? That's what you consider advancement if you had a time machine. You know, you're going, what the fuck? Where's my free energy, you lazy motherfucker? You know. And anyway, that's what I wanted to point out also. And I'm not knocking nobody. But I told Pontifex one time, and I'm not knocking Pontifex, I'm relaying the comment conversation, which was, or actually it was one of the videos, which was, if we, you and me, there's no government here, there's nothing here, there's you and me. All the fictions are out the fucking door, I don't want to hear it. You're going to present me a problem, and I'm going to attempt to solve it. At the same time, I have to take into consideration what social cohesion, fundamentals, principles, and properties you're carrying. Why do I need to solve this fucking problem that somebody else brought to me and you know, dumped on my doorstep, then ran away? Why is this my problem to solve your problem? Is it in my best interest to solve a problem for you, knowing that you'll come back and fuck with me and waste all my time to fuck with a problem that's only fictional generally because there's ass hurt and just bullshit? Okay? All right, now, if we're going to talk a mechanical problem, because people can't seem to separate this out in their brain pans between fictions and tool-based problems. And what I said to Pontifex is, okay, you're right, Pontifex. Whoa, you're right. We're living in an advanced world, so advanced you can make corn, Frankencorn, to feed half the population, yet all you do is don't feed it to your own people because you refuse to test it, and so you send it overseas to fuck up everybody else's crops. Eugenics 2.1, you know what I mean? 2.2 or whatever have you. All right, so I said, okay, Pontifex, you're right. We need to get food from the farm to the table. And at the same time, we need to eliminate man-made chemicals in the process and leave food-based forms as clean as possible, as natural as possible. Though there is natural genetic modification, which is crossbreeding of plants, etc. Okay? Not forced. Not forced. The problems happen when they're forced, and then you ingest the shit. Because nobody knows, and this is where I love the magic of science today. The magic of science. Fuck it. Let's not do a study. We just assume it's right. I'm not saying Integral does that. I am so fucking tired of hearing you people from Harvard and everybody else with your bullshit studies. If you refuse to use a strict science methodology, it is time for you motherfuckers to be closed down and to go give somebody like Integral Math a goddamn MacArthur grant so the son of a bitch can teach you something you should have fucking knowed the day you got out of high school. This is what this is coming to. And then you're going to bitch the United States government and everybody else, including you educational motherfuckers, because you're so lazy. The barest thing you can do is your fucking job instead of advancing fucking science. Now that pisses me off to no end. And then you're going to tell me, well, hey, that dumb motherfucker's from Oklahoma. Hey, he's just a don't worry about him. He's a fucking idiot. Even though I can deconstruct and collapse the magic of science, all of society, all of fucking government, and all of fucking law in 4 hours, and create a movement that's on 3 continents and 4 fucking countries. Now that's me. And the best you're going to do is say you're right because I fucking said so in abeyance of all actual reality and fact. Well, ain't that a hell of a deal? Now, before I jump back down to here, let me repeat that if you've got a crooked fucking extremely closed system, right, that's only there for political gain and for an easy fucking paycheck, that's not actual science-based and not actual education-based, and is designed solely to push tools off the fucking assembly line. And that's all you are, a retarded fucking tool that became a machine that punches out retarded fucking tools that go out to create retarded fucking machines, to go out to create retarded fucking tools. At what point in time can you not figure out that fucking Ponzi scam will collapse? Do you seriously? Remember, I'm a fucking idiot. How can you not see that? And then say some stupid motherfucker, then tell me if I just hugged everybody and touched their fucking wieners, it would fix it. Are you fucking crazy? Okay. In abeyance, in complete assumption, presumptione et de jure of all things, of all reality. And that's science. And that's everything else. Now, this is where you begin to get into the old school oracular stuff. Okay? This is where the art meets the science. Okay? In some small part, that's, we're talking about a general society and you having to predict trends. Well, the deal is they don't fucking predict trends. They create them so they may predict them in abeyance of the actual fucking natural models. I've said this before. Now, I'm not going to knock Salente, but I'm going to specify this. He is inside a very, very specific, very small numerical population called finance. Well, I'm not knocking him. What I mean is his work is based on trends that do take into account a ton of fictions meant to drive populations. Okay? And he has to sort through that and figure out what each variable will cause. All right. Now, that's just within the financial. He's taking in general information and going into a specific model with it and trying to figure out an emerging trend. Okay? All right. There's nothing wrong with that. Part of the reason why I do watch him is irrelevant of what he would like on direct democracy or anything else. He does attempt to do trends, but he's not a fucking hack like everybody else I see. All right? I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying that. I'm saying at least he is attempting to do so. However, there are problems here with the inability to predict specific movements, okay? And this can get screwy, so this will take a little bit, all right? And what I'm saying is, these models do not take into account all natural models or man-made models. And even in the man-made models, it doesn't take into account all those models. Now, integral math, who Gerald Celente should fucking hire, because he does not ignore possible variables or constants. He doesn't ignore those. He factors them to the best of his ability. Okay, all right. Because it's not just about math, it is a whole bunch of other fictitious shit. Philosophy is math. Philosophy is all things. And by philosophy, I mean subjective fucking reality. Okay? All right. So, a good, hardcore, strict methodology with science is going to have to be reworked. It's obvious, Jesus Christ, it's obvious from the government to the education system to the higher education system that it's got way the fuck off track. And you wonder why nothing works right. You wonder why. How the fuck do you not know why when you run the motherfucker and you start trends like a retard? How the fuck do you not know? You are doing it. Okay? It pisses me off. That's one of them things that pisses me off. You can't blame me, motherfucker. You're the one doing it, and you're the one that ignores all other fucking things. Because you want to sell something, you shystering son of a bitch. Instead of being a lazy motherfucker getting a paycheck, try to identify these models somewhat better outside of a goddamn Pentium 1 steam-driven processor. Okay? And that's you. You're the fucking Pentium 1, not me. Alright? So, anyway, integral doesn't do that, so I would like to see somebody take integral fucking seriously when it comes to the game theory aspects. Okay? Alright. He's more well-versed in very strict methodology and mathematics, which can help identify, correlate, and quantify the variables into data that can be used and transmitted faster. Okay? That's what I make computers, motherfucker, and the scientific method and mathematics, okay? Ooh. So you can bust it down into smaller formulas so you'll be able to not use a whole notebook paper to tell you what the fuck you ought to already know. That the Oracle of Delphi fucking knew 5,000 years ago. Are you serious? Yes, we're fucking serious. And it ought to say how fucked up this country is if it devolves to a stupid motherfucker like me to tell you. I don't get paid for this, motherfucker. How did you not know this? You run this. Of course we're going to fall behind in the technology race. We're fucking stupid. Did I not just show you this shit? Okay? All right. Everybody else is going to whack their fucking wieners for a while, and they're just going to socially cohese, motherfucker, social reconstruction, behavior modification, instead of actual fucking science and actual fucking advancement. And none of you stupid motherfuckers are out here on YouTube attempting to identify players that would be able to, without extra behavior modification, but with a more strict methodology that could create the next power plants and everything else. Because the problems you're directly facing, in part, is because you don't have, quote, free energy, unquote, or a 1-1 unit, okay, or close to power plants, excellent conversion power plants. Fresh water, right? These are all things that's got to be fucking taken care of. But nobody's fucking doing it. They're giving Solyndra fucking money. And you get pissed off at me because I argue with you over a bunch of plantation retard running motherfuckers that don't care. You're the one that's going to destroy this motherfucker, not me. Alright, so when your Ponzi pyramid fails, integral math sitting right over there telling you what the fuck the problem is, along with other people. Now, I don't mean the others that are fully emotional, alright? Like I just was. Okay? All right, so when you go through, let's jump from Gerald and we'll jump back to here. So when they offer A or B choice, then you already know that it's going to drop back into a single choice. Even if he's a detractor, the detractor will force an A-B choice that automatically will dump right back into the ZPP zombie pair player, depending on who of the two are better. So let me throw in a mid-branch path. If first unit player, let's not go desert, but we'll go, let's identify this now, let's quantify this as an individual that's also ZPP, and it'll bring both those branch paths that come back in time, all right, to the original shy string or ZPP. Either they will collate and coagulate into a singular branch path and fuck both units up, okay? Especially with only emotional fucking caltropping and data that is not data, it's just fucking opinion and viewpoint, okay? All right, now this, I'm talking in the more social, the society-based stuff, okay? And if original player is good enough, okay, generally this devolves into an emotional battle, okay, at this point. Nothing but ass hurt. Nothing but emotion. Which, by the way, is why, I'm going to throw this in before I forget, this is why you run a nullification game theory, okay? Because third individual, we'll just call individual, running a nullified desert model, which means the fictions are gone. We know what reality we know what reality ain't. We still ain't good enough to know what reality is. All right, so once you ditch those socially cohesive properties, right there, this individual can step in and begin to nullify both, which will set both into a new branch path. Now, it's still on a singular branch path that individual designed. And you'll say, uh-oh, isn't the individual doing the same as either one of the other two players? And I'm saying no, because he's nullifying both positions, and therefore they have to restart again with the injection of nullifying factors such as everything you said is fiction. You have no fucking fact. Both of you do not know what the fuck you're talking about. You're being used. You're using each other. You have a shyster on your back. You have a shyster on both of your backs. You're being played like a fucking rube. That takes that into a singular branch path that opens completely up. It is now their choice to decide what reality is and reboot their own models. And you thought I was a fucking idiot. Yeah, well, I'll show you right now. I'm pretty good at it when I want to be, if I'm not being stupid or lazy. Once that occurs, once nullification occurs, and all parties open up, again, I discussed this another one, you went from limiting branch path to an open branch path that allows the possibilities to be endless again. Okay? Because you're locked right now in a pyramid that cannot exist. It is static. It will collapse. It was shoddily fucking built anyway for only greed-based models, profit-based models. But profit-based models not for everyone, but for specific people. And I thought we were talking about advancement, and all I get is some stupid shit like zeitgeist. What fucking retarded shit? Or the mathematically perfected economy? Fuck you. Retarded fictional bullshit. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. Pontifex, y'all go into that one. Y'all pick a model. I don't care. Literally, I don't, since it's all fictionally based. Anyway, so if let's say that the third-party individual nullifying factor doesn't step in. Well, that means that original zombie will have the choice of either breaking the branch path that was offered by zombie parrot player, the one that approached him, or if he's good enough, he can convince ZPP2 to join his side. Okay? All right. Now, the problem with this is you're seeing a long, drawn-out cycle. That's not efficient. That's old-school shystering. Okay? You have to revamp that and go into a nullifying model that can destroy both branch paths at one time. And here, let me also reiterate this. Any lex lumine paratus that are within basic social operating limits that view that, which can be proved, thank you very much, go to David Icke's Bestival video. It's an hour long, and it's worth every fucking bit of it. It's game theory in motion. That's the art of game theory, what he's doing. He's using older shit, but that's fine with me. Hey, I'm serious. You don't got, well, some of you do have an idea what he did and how well he pulled that off. Now, unfortunately, he failed miserably with Jesse Ventura. But then again, Jesse Ventura is now learning game, or he's applying shit that he knew before I was born. Okay? Let's say that, because that man knows his shit. All right? David Icke, you can learn something from Jesse Ventura. Don't be pissed at him. You can learn something. But anyway, I'm going to leave that out, because I technically could not tell which one was, if both were playing to the fourth wall, if both were or which one of the two was playing to the fourth, right? I think David Icke was playing to the fourth after a certain point. Now, that's crowd appeal. So a lot of zombies attempt to do that one, right? Oh, you're appealing to the crowd. You know, it's shit like that. When they're doing the exact same thing because they're calling you out and therefore appealing to the fucking crowd. Stupid shit. Anyway, so I know David Icke did that, but I also know that Jesse Ventura did the only thing that you can possibly do to nullify an opposing player. And I said this before, you take a specific fact, they're the ones that presented that motherfucker, whatever have you, and you shank that motherfucker over and over in the neck. All right? Because if this is about winning, stop debating and arguing, you dumb bastards, and start winning. I don't attempt to hit a motherfucker. I punch him in the face or I pistol whoop him. I don't attempt to do it. Okay? Anyway, so any Lex Lumine Paratus that view this will also, you have to take I'd have to ask integral math, but I would say in a crowd of 25 people, if you can pull 3 that will lean towards nullification, it can begin to nullify the entire crowd. Okay? Fictionally, I don't mean this is for personal fucking gain or monetary gain or in order to take over a fucking crowd. I mean nullifying their bullshit and allowing them to choose whatever path they so choose. Now, this is with a smaller model, okay? Smaller crowd, okay? If you attempt, see, even I have problems even remotely thinking of the sheer amount of possible branch paths in one town of 300 people. But there again, they're not that different. That's where integral math would say you'll see that the variables aren't that much different between each other in the socially cohesive properties. Whereas, because he'd be good at identifying specific properties. All right. Whereas if you go social wide, society wide, woo man. The sheer amount of fucking groups at play, but you'll find that they're not that different. So some variables begin to drop off, but that's the slippery fucking slope where you gotta have somebody like integral math. You laugh. You gotta have somebody like him. So he can elbow check your ass to the wall if you get off track by saying, oh, well, we can just go ahead and presume that. And you go, no, here he comes. Shank you, motherfucker. What you doing assuming shit? Right? That's right. All right. So, and the only reason I mention integral math in this video is because he does very good work. I'm assuming a lot of people don't understand that, or it's fine. It's just the way the world is. Just the way the world is. Technically, I'm not suited for this shit, but I do this shit because I must get this shit done in order to do specific real-world things. I know you don't, a lot of you don't understand that. That's fine. Okay? But in the course of doing this, it amazed me that I did come across people like Integral Math that then decided to up their fucking game. Jesse Ventura, Gerald Celente, Max Kaiser, Abby Martin, even Alex Jones. They're upping their fucking games because nullification procedures are working. Do you understand that? Panopticonic gaming is here to stay, motherfucker. And the deal is you cannot, if you're going to play this, you cannot have attachments. You cannot have attachments to any of this shit. You can't be sitting there drawing a fucking paycheck. If you do it by the very definition of social and behavior modification, cohesive principles, you're going to fucking fail. Therefore, you cannot be used. There has to be the distinction on what you're attempting to do and why you're attempting to do it, or it will not work. Now, that's where Gerald Celente's starting to excel, and the others are falling behind. Okay. That's how I see it. All right, now Abby Martin is too strict in her methodology, but I'm not going to knock her because she's got to deal with fictional horseshit stories. All right? There's an intent on emotionalism anyway. By the time she gets it, it's intent to induce her to a position. People don't pass shit unless, because people love the emotionalism. They do not pass a piece of information unless it pisses you off, or it does not. Okay? Like them fucking cat videos. Somebody bitch at the NSA or the CIA, whoever fucking decided cat videos was the new game theory in town. Fuck you with your goddamn cat videos. I hate watching them fucking videos. Or, that's a lie, because keyboard cat and long cat are just fine with me. As well as Schrodinger's cat. Okay? Nyan cat. But otherwise than that, I'm mad at them. Alright? So, anyway, so you've got that there. The oracular nature comes solely, now the Oracle of Delphi, if you read, if you can get as much as you can, and you read the Oracle of Delphi and watch her predictions. I know people like Integral Math and them do not consider them to be of any value. And that's the only part that they're going to miss. That's the only part they're going to miss. In order to get real science, now this is what I would say if Integral Math would ever listen. I'm not saying he don't. He doesn't know I exist. What I'm saying is, if Integral Math understood that science is directly derived from behavior modification and social reconstruction and cohesion, then Integral Math could then build a stricter methodology and have people use it and get more profit and more gain. By profit, I mean any type of movement, better tool production, better tools, higher, faster, quality and quantity across the board. That in studying any specific subjective issue, right, he would be able to gain more from the data. That's all. I'm not knocking him. What I'm saying is he's got a role to play. What the fuck do you want to do? Do you want to bitch and moan? Hey, I don't mean he does. I'm saying right now he's in his gamer phase, and that's fine with me. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see anybody attempt to do something. But also remember, if we're going to bitch about really vague social issues, we're going to fix it. And part of the reason I'm going to fix it, if you ain't noticed, these other people other than you watch these fucking videos because I hear it on my news all the time. Unless you're unaware of my shit. Okay? I've shown some of it that's I've heard get passed, and the rest I just don't care about. I don't get paid for it, and I don't fucking care. The drive of it was to say, by the way, do you know you have foreign influences coming in attempting to bust this motherfucker all up? And you do know you got minority groups that are just going off the reservation. They would destroy everything, kill your fucking family, and then say you're the motherfucker that was evil. At the same time, it's not exactly like the government's any help in this issue. However, well, let's throw in Harvard and the rest of you motherfuckers. However, the game really begins when Integral or Puka or Skepticles or CR40 or Barron or Hovind or anybody else comprehends what the fuck they're doing. If you'll comprehend it, then go through your normal justification models and go, okay, I'm trying to okay, well, let's determine intent on your greater good shit. All right, nobody, you got to remember, you can't force compliance with nobody else. This country wasn't, well, technically this country was exactly built on that. But that's not what the fuck this motherfucker is. Now, I went through the video here a while back, did I not, about who built what, when, and where. Okay? So, with this nullification, it has to be done, which this is Operation In-N-Out Burger. It's got to be done with individuals that are not emotionally ass-hurt and whine over every fucking Palestinian kid that gets killed or every devil Jew that makes $1, right? That shit's got to go by the wayside if you want to do actual gaming. You cannot keep that shit and do legitimate, effective gaming. Okay? All right. Otherwise, go hang out at fucking Godlike Productions at Above Top Secret and start stabbing each other like a bunch of fucking retards, okay? That's fucking for 3-year-olds. I told you that shit. That's old school fucking coal-fired, steam-driven game theory. That's retarded shit. It's not an injection of your religion or your morality or anything else you like. It is a nullification of very problematic behavior modification and social reconstruction. Now, this doesn't touch the regional models. Those flavors are an even more complex fucking animal, okay, to dissect and read the entrails of, which integral math will tell you. There's so many fucking factors and variables, you do not get to be a lazy bastard no more and average your statistics. No more. No more. That's horseshit. All right? Anyway, I mean, that's great for government popular votes in an election where the Electoral College doesn't even actually pick the president, but where Congress decrees the fucking president because the president's the president of fucking Congress. Jesus Christ. But anyway, there's that. Now, go read your Oracle Delphi predictions, okay, and look how she identifies the individual in question and her ability to see socially cohesive properties, okay? That's what some of the mystery school shit was. I don't know if Integral and them know of that. But it's okay. It's irrelevant that they used to teach this type of stuff, as I've discovered. Somewhere's got to teach this stuff, or you would not exist in the man-made pyramid Ponzi's that always followed the same fucking thing across the entire known world. Okay? All right. With the exception of small tribes. All right. So anyway, that's it. Goodbye.